What's up guys, David here, MixBest TV. Welcome to another video. See this? You see this? You recognize it? It's this orange clip. We all know and use it because it's one of the best clippers out there. Orange Clip 3. Same, but check this out. But different. You see that? It's multi-band. It's multi-band and it kicks so much it's not even funny. The best part is this is a completely 100% free update for all orange clip owners. So in this video I'm gonna show you how my buddy Ryan Schwab turned one of the best clippers out there into a creative clipping weapon. All the new features, what's cool, some really cool tricks that you can do with this, the amazing ergonomics. This thing is a breeze to use. It's one of the coolest plugins out there and it deserves the best video, so I'm gonna try. Let's get to it. Hello everyone, welcome back to MixBest TV. Hope you guys are having a great day. Before we start, check the info box down below for free plugin special discounts, offers, and of course, links to Orange Clip Multiband. If you want to book mix and mastering with me, go to the website mixbesttv.com. In there you can find all the mix and mastering courses. And if you want to access the exclusive library of in-depth mix and mastering videos here on YouTube, click the join button, become a MixBest TV member. And if the videos are helping you, please consider using the super thanks or grab some merch. Let's get to the video. All right, so much to say and so much to show you guys about Orange Clip 3, now multi-band. The GUI has the same color scheme and familiar control that we are familiar with from the previous version. We got a clip readout here at the top, ceiling slider, input and output slider, and wet dry sliders here. Big orange knob and the visualizer for our transfer curve. So everything is the same until we click the multi-band button here at the bottom. We click this and a whole new sets of control and of course a whole new algorithm is now at our disposal. We have 3 independent band for clipping, and you can see here by dragging these 3 dots you set the level of the clipping, so basically your ceiling for each band, lows, mids, and highs. Each band can be soloed, and as you can see by default when I click one band it unlatches the previous, and this is just the first of the many cool ergonomic things that this plugin has. If I press shift while clicking, I can now select multiple bands and in any combination. This is very, very cool. In the same way, if I want to move these sliders at the same time, again, I click shift and as you can see, I can now move them all together at once. Here on top of the main visualizer, we have the main controls for the 3 bands. So we have the knee, the orange processing for each band right here. So if I turn this one, you can see the first band, the top band, the knee goes from hard to soft, and same for the mid band and same for the low band. And in the same way, if you want to move them all at once, you just press shift and there you have it. And as you can see, you maintain the relationship between the 3, which is absolutely great. All right, so let's say you want to keep these harder and the low band a little softer, and then you do this, you keep the relationship between them. Really, really cool. On top of the processing, we have the makeup gain for each band. You can see the numbers here at the top. You can either move them individually or again, you can move them all together by pressing shift. And also while you're here, let's say you're moving this mid band, if you press control and click on it, it will automatically solo the mid band. Same for here. So you don't have to actually go here with your mouse and solo. You can temporarily solo each band by clicking on any control related to that band while pressing the control button. Option click on the numbers will bring them all back to default. And then we have the crossovers. So this one sets the crossover between the high band and the mid band, and this one between the mid band and the low band. If this wasn't enough control, we have independent mix knob. You see this 100 here? It starts fully wet at default, but you can back this off and inject back the dry signal for each band individually. And this is of course on top of the main wet dry mix sliders that are here, and we're going to talk about the signal flow of Orange Clip Multiband because it's very important. Now, what's the signal flow in multiband mode? I'll show you here a picture of the entire signal flow, but the important bit that you need to remember and keep in mind is that the multiband clipping happens before the wideband clipping. So if I run some material through it and I set my ceiling levels for the clipping for each individual band, this clipping stage happens before my main wideband clipping stage. This still happens if you, of course, push the ceiling down enough to actually clip the signal. And here we go. Our readout is gonna read how much I'm clipping, 2.3, just for an example. But just so you have a full overview, this is the entire signal flow. Input, input trim. If multiband is off, we go to input meter, ceiling needle, orange processing, output mixer, output trim, output meter, and output. If multiband is on, you can see the signal goes out to orange clip 3, linear phase, filter bank, meters, ceiling targets, orange processing, dry wet, post trim, multiband summing, and then we go back to here, input meter, and so on. So this is the full signal chain, which brings me to the last controls here at the bottom. We have oversampling, of course, up to 16 by. We have linear phase or minimum phase. Of course, this is self-explanatory. And we also have another interesting option. So you can see next to the multiband button, we had a window with two choices, true linear and Q linear. Now, true linear is your regular linear phase, no phase shifting whatsoever, what we all know. But we also have this interesting alternative, I wanna say, it's called Q linear. So what are the benefits, so to speak, of this Q linear? Well, first of all, while still giving us perfect linear reconstruction, it significantly reduces pre-ringing. This alternative, we can say, is a fresh take on the linear phase concept. In fact, the Q linear adds a slight phase rotation at the crossover points, adding a little more depth and movement. Basically, try it. Sometimes it sounds cool. I think this is a good overview of all the new features and controls of Orange Clip 3. Let's hear it in action and I'll show you some other gems while using it. Before going into single tracks and specific examples and some of the tricks that you can do, by the way, you will find my presets with Orange Clip 3. I have this song here that I was mixing, is a 50-ish track beat. And as you can see from the top here, the first slot, I have Orange Clip multiband only on 6 out of these 50 tracks. Kick, drums, 808, guitars, keys, and trumpet. And I'm gonna bypass and unbypass all of them while playing so you can hear the difference that this plugin alone can make on any piece of music. Without first, so the first one is in our kick drum. All right, if we take a look at my settings, I'm clipping quite a lot the low end, which is really from the low mids and down because my crossover frequency is a 270. All right, and this is the amount of clipping that I'm doing with a really smooth transfer curve. You can see my orange processing here for the low band, but I'm mixing the clipped signal at about 50% for the low band, 100% for the mid and the high, and I'm still doing quite a lot of clipping here, probably around 8 to 10 dB. This really is a testament on how you can abuse this plugin and it still sounds great. On top of my multiband processing, I'm also clipping quite a lot the wideband section, so that comes after the multiband. You can see I'm clipping over 6 dB. But if we take a look at the input level here, I'm probably just 1 dB over, and maybe I could lower it down to match the level, but the point is you have a lot more character density, in this case also tone shaping, while having the same nominal level. Now, one thing about Orange Clip 3 that kind of changed the way I use it compared to the wideband. For me, the wideband was 90% of the time all dry, no wet. I was designing the sound that I wanted inside Orange Clip, saturating how much I want it, and just put it out. While talking to Ryan Schwab, of course, and exchanging methods and ideas, I realized he often used it as a parallel saturator. So his dry slider was pretty much a 0 or close to 0, and then he was injecting the distorted clipped part to it. And I never used to do that before, but now with the multiband, I found myself doing that, even though slightly different from what he does. I do the opposite. My wet is all the way up, and I inject the dry with it. You can see here is a minus 2.3. So definitely experiment. I don't know how you used to use the previous Orange Clip in wideband, but definitely the multiband opens so many freaking possibilities. I have the next instance on the entire drum, so let's hear that. All right, in this case, I'm using it to add more knock this chest punch feeling in the mid-range, right? You can see my settings here. I'm barely touching the low end, still a more gentle slope. And then I'm pushing the high quite hard. I'm clipping a lot because that's what gives me the snap. It brings that percussion up. And for this one, I'm keeping everything wet. I use the makeup gain here to reshape the whole drum kit, and I'm not using the wideband clipping here. Next instance, I got it on the 808. Let's hear that. And there is a level difference, but that's not what's important. What's important is how much intelligibility added in the mid-range. You can see that's the band that I'm clipping the most here with the multiband, because that is what adds that grit that helps the 808 translates to small speakers. And I'm massaging really the low band with a really gentle knee just to smooth out and enrich that low end. I have one instance on the guitars. This, I really used it not only to control the spike, so we can zoom in on the waveform a little bit. You can see this guitar, how spiky that is, but also I really use it almost as an EQ. I push the top end while clipping it a lot so I can get the sparkle at the top, and it really changes the tone of the guitar. So this is no more the clipper that used to be in the DAW that was used for basically one purpose, was overinflating the low end and just giving it that over the top saturated sound. This became a mixing tool now. I have one instance on the keys. I love this one in particular. You can hear the mid-range starts to break a little bit, and it's got such a cool sound, very lo-fi in this case. And I carefully injected a little bit of dry signal. You can see the mid-band, which is the one that clips the most. This case, I did the opposite. The mid-band, which is the one that I'm clipping the most, my orange processing, so the knee is all the way soft. This is how you get this crunchy sound. Listen. And what I like is it's very dynamic. You can literally hear when it starts clipping more than a little, it starts crunching, and it's really, really cool sound. The last one I have it on the trumpet. I'm not touching the low end, there's nothing there. I'm mostly again crunching the mid-range to the point where it adds a little bit of life. And I'm combining, in this case, my multiband processing with the wideband clipping, because I'm clipping a lot. You can see over 60 dB here. Let's change project. I'm gonna show you a couple of tricks. All right, we can do a full mix.
Sunshine on this side of town. You could get lost and never be found. Fuck it, I'ma ride out till my fucking time's out. So I gotta make it. It's do or die now, and my soul is sainted. Should've been out by now, running out of patience, losing my mind now. Feel like I gotta watch my back, I'm in danger. Used to be homie, some changed up, hard working, not to say look, just caked up. I made up my mind, I gotta get.
I am every time. First of all, you can see how simple it is to set it up. Like, this is almost foolproof. Like, you really need to work hard to make it sound bad. And this is a full finished mix, and every time it kind of surprised me how much more energy, you want to call it enrichment, you want to call it life, harmonics, it brings to the track. Another cool thing we can do is play with the wet dry slider here a little bit. You hear how much more density and sustain it adds to the snare, and it's just a little fuller. And I'm hammering the signal with clipping on the wet side, but again, we have oversampling. This thing sounds absolutely amazing. Let me try to switch, maybe it would be better with some melodic material, but I'm gonna start doing it here between true linear and Q linear, so you hear the differences that we were talking about at the beginning. Right, I think it's clear, and again, I'm gonna go to a synth and show you. It might be more obvious, but you can hear, right? It kind of opens up. It's got a different flavor. It's got a different sound. This is a really nice addition to all the features that we have. I'm having so much fun because it's got so much headroom, so to speak. The range, it's massive. You can really clip a lot, and I think I've said this in the original video for Orange Clip. It makes you want to push more than you would do, but you want to do this because it's got this really unique way of breaking. No other processor has this particular type of distortion and saturation. It has a really cool sound. If you notice a trend when I process things like this, I really like to squash the top end and then compensate a little bit with the makeup gain of it, because it gives this really modern sound which is saturated on the top end, and it's brighter, but it's not ear piercing. That's one thing that I really like. And you can do some really cool tricks for vocals. This is one of my most used saturators for vocals, has been since Orange Clip came out. Actually, I still have an old preset here called Slither Vocals. I use this for an industrial piece where I wanted to distort the vocals with it. But now with the multiband, you can really control that distortion.
And I'm OG like Montana. I don't mean French or henna, more like Tony from Havana. Cause if they try to throw me in the handcuffs, I got my codees with the handguns to puppet police if they act tough. Cause we got like 4 keys in the back of the OG. We roll deep, man, it go deep in the bang bus. We so street like gold teeth and bandana, so please, y'all so weak, y'all like both knees on a grandma. And y'all be drip dropping in Gucci tops and Louboutins, new Balenciagas, Louis Vuittons. I'm still rocking FUBU hoodies with some Puma socks like it's 92 and I'm popping locking on boulevards. Man, fuck 'em, Edgar Hoover cops. Fucking losers watch me write these bars in Google Docs. Then spot me copping Glocks and hopping out of Uber cars to pop so many Rugers off these goobers won't know who to call.
All right, you can get this greedy, saturated sound, and one cool thing, and this is just the color that even the original Orange Clip had, is it kind of tends to soften the high mids. Even if I turn off the multiband and I just run the distortion with wideband only.
And I'm OG like Montana. I don't mean French or henna, more like Tony from Havana. Cause if they try to throw me in the handcuffs, I got my codees with the handguns, the puppet police.
Which I still love it in wideband. It doesn't turn the top end into glass. It actually seems to dip a little bit. You can even control it more now with the multiband by changing the crossover frequency, using the makeup gain for each band. This new update really opens so many more possibilities to use Orange Clip. Last example with this. All right, so the change on this one is subtle, the tonal change, but let me show you something. I'm gonna bring up the master fader here because I have it right there. And let me show you what is the nominal level. This is without. Take a look at this meter. All right, we go from -13 to -3. And granted, I'm exaggerating the settings and all. And but this, all you need to do at this point is like move a little bit the wet, dry sliders, and you have the sound ready to go. But this is just to show you between utility, between tonal shaping, creative clipping, straight saturation, the Orange Clip 3 new multiband is an absolute beast. I freaking love it. And this is it for the video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. If you like the video, please don't forget to leave a like. You will find the link to Orange Clip in the info box down below. And again, this is a free update for all the previous Orange Clip owners, which is mind-blowing. But if you didn't have this clipper before, well, this is a good time to get it. Stay tuned, subscribe on the channel if you haven't already, and click the notification bell because we have a ton of new things coming up. If you want to book mix and mastering with me, go to the website mixmastv.com. In there you can find all the mix and mastering courses, book private lessons, mix consultations, and a lot more. If you want to access the exclusive library of in-depth mix and mastering videos here on YouTube, click the join button, become a MixMastV member. And if the videos are helping you, please consider using the super thanks or grab some merch. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. Stay safe. See you next time.